Hey gamers, Rob from ZborGaming back, and today we are looking at the AS VAL, the new assault rifle in Season 6 of Modern Warfare. So let's go ahead and take a look at what the AS VAL has to offer here. So this is a pretty interesting gun. It's a fully suppressed weapon. It's available at Tier 31 of the Battle Pass, and it has a max level of 53. So all the barrels that you will attach for this weapon are suppressed. Also, this weapon has no muzzle attachment because of that sort of suppressed action. So the camo requirements are standard across this assault rifle class. All the attachments are listed out here. Like I said, there's no muzzle. We do have some unique barrels, some different stock attachments, and ammo, and I'll touch on some of those a little bit later in the video. So as far as base stats, the AS VAL does 47 damage to the head, 37 to the chest, and 30 to the stomach and limbs. So at that base damage range, it will be a one-shot kill, up close and hardcore, up to about 30 meters. And it's a three-shot kill. This weapon has super fast time to kills, though, even with the several shots to kill, down in the range of about 130 milliseconds. So this thing will shred. Has a very fast fire rate at 900 RPMs. The big limiting factor with the AS VAL is the magazine capacity. It has 20 bullets, and I think you get 4 clips in reserve for 80 bullets in reserve. Pretty quick ADS speed, 197 milliseconds, which is good. Deals some pretty impressive damage per second as well. Reload times are about 2.4 seconds on a full empty reload. A reload add time, though, is only about a second and a half. And you can speed both of those up with the sleight of hand perks. Note that the 10-round reload is about the same as the normal reload. Not a whole lot different there. Got a few loadout suggestions here, which I'll go through later in the video. Stick around. The other thing I'll mention too, if you've never been to the channel before, people who've come back regularly know that over here on ZborGaming.com, it's a website I got. I'll have a link in the description below. I'll have a lot of these infographics up there, so feel free to head on over there after you watch the video, because there is some stuff in the video that is not on the website. So with that, let's talk briefly about those 10-round magazines. These things are currently bugged in the game. Not sure if this is really well known or not, but they pretty much, I'll go through it here on the next slide. But note that you are capable of a one-shot headshot kill, which is 100 damage to the head. It does change the base range, though, down to 26.5 meters from 31 with the base ammo, so be aware of that. And you do get a higher damage output. Also note, though, that the 10-round stats turn the gun into a semi-automatic. So the fire rate's around 450, 500 RPMs around there. And it really doesn't change the ADS speed, even though in the description it says it's supposed to. So if we go ahead and take a look at the next page, we'll talk a little bit more in depth about some of these specialized attachments. So like I mentioned earlier, we had the 3 barrels. You got the Sova barrel, which speeds up your aim down sight speed by about a frame and a half. It does hurt your bullet velocity, which also impacts that damage range. So you will lose some damage range and bullet velocity. And frankly, the AS VAL does not have good bullet velocity to begin with. It's only 335 milliseconds. So you will have a lot harder time hitting moving targets, especially at range with this weapon. You can see up here as far as the advanced stats, it's only got one drop-off range at 31.5 meters. Yet the 10-round mags has an additional drop-off range at 48 from 26. Last couple things to note here, which we did mention earlier. Movement speed is pretty good for an assault rifle at 95%. Same with the strafe speed at 53%. Your sprint out times are standard. And again, you've got that extra magazine in reserve, so you get 80 bullets in reserve, which definitely helps because you go through bullets pretty fast with this weapon. So back over to the barrels. This 200 millimeter OSA barrel is actually the 3rd barrel you unlock. You get a 25% damage range increase, which is nice. Speeds up the bullet velocity. and it's only a 2 frame slower ADS speed penalty, so that's pretty good. The Stovall SOF barrel, I really do not recommend using this barrel at all. It does speed up your aim down sight speed quite a bit, helps out that movement speed, but the recoil really goes haywire here with this weapon. So keep that in mind. Also, totally shreds your bullet velocity, and you get a pretty good hit to your damage range as well. So, frankly, I would stay away from this barrel. The other two are just fine to use. The OSA barrel is probably my favorite, the 200 millimeter, because it really doesn't have a big impact to your ADS speed, and you get a nice damage range boost, which helps with this weapon. 30 round mags, there's really, you get the 10 extra rounds. There's a very minimal impact to your ADS speed at 5 milliseconds, so it's pretty much not even noticeable. And about a 1.5 to 2% movement speed penalty, which isn't too bad. Again, back to these 10 round mags though. Aim down sight speed is about less than a frame faster. It's hardly noticeable. Damage, again, that profile is right down here, which we talked about earlier. You can see though that with this 10 round, this is a one-shot kill in hardcore at any distance, which is nice. Again, you get 10 bullets, 40 in reserve. And the last thing I'm going to mention here is this bullet penetration. This gun is bugged. Right now in the game, it shoots through all walls. You can hit an enemy halfway across the map through cover with this weapon. A lot of people are using snapshot grenades right now, firing them across the map and shooting through 5 pieces of cover and killing people. So be aware of that. This will most likely get patched. It hasn't been patched yet. Typically they go through and they fix these things on the first Tuesday after the release. It hasn't happened yet. I tested this out probably 20 minutes ago, and you can still shoot enemies through cover with these rounds on. So take note of that. That bullet penetration, it basically means it penetrates through everything right now. So here are a couple infographics. I actually have these over on the website as well. They basically just sort of run down those different attachments and how much faster or slower they affect your ADS speed. So you can see here that Stovall SOF barrel does have a really nice boost to the ADS, but it carries with those other penalties I really don't like. Over here, this is a new infographic. I literally just threw this together last night. This covers all of the scope ADS speeds for the assault rifle class. So these will apply to all the assault rifles here. I put a post on the website. You can go and pull that infographic off of there if you want. But you can see that not all sights are created equal. I know a lot of people talk about reflex sights. It's about a 1 frame. It varies. Your Solo Zero Optics Mini is about a 1 frame. And a couple of your other reflex sights are a half frame. So you can see here we have them all listed out as far as the ADS speeds for each of the scopes. And again, after the video, head on over to the website. You can find that in one of the posts. So, taking a look at the recoil control here, this is sort of the base recoil pattern for the AS VAL. You can see it sort of kicks left and then goes straight up. However, with the 10 round mags, once you start shooting, it sort of kicks up here for these first 3 bullets and then it drifts off to the left. So you have a much different recoil profile with the 10 round mags. Now for a lot of other semi-automatic weapons, that recoil centers pretty well and it comes right back to 0. It does not do that for this weapon. So be mindful of that when you're spamming the trigger, that recoil will kick pretty hard up and to the left. Most of the other attachments, there are not a lot of attachments that you can put on this gun outside of the underbarrels that will help with the recoil control. You have that rubberized grip and you have that Strelok stock. So those are about the only things that you can put on this to help with that recoil control. So as far as the ammo is concerned, here is the hardcore multiplayer as well as a fully armored enemy in Warzone, what it's going to take. So you can see here that under that base damage range, it's going to be a one-shot kill for either round you use in hardcore. Now, for the base ammo, you get beyond 31.5 meters, it will be a two-shot kill, so keep that in mind. For multiplayer in Warzone, it would be a 3 to 4 shot kill for a non-armored enemy. And then for a fully armored enemy in Warzone, it's going to take you up to 9 shots to kill. But the time to kill values are pretty respectable at around a half second. With those 10-round mags, they're going to be slightly longer, and it's going to take you fewer bullets to kill. Honestly, I really don't know if I recommend using this weapon much. In Warzone, it's probably better suited for multiplayer gameplay. So again, here's that base recoil test. I just sort of showed you this before. Again, those 10-round mags are over here. If we go ahead and take a look at the barrel attachments. So the only barrel that it says it actually affects your recoil is this SOF barrel right here. You can see it says negative recoil control. So you can see how the SOVA barrel as well as the 200mm OSA really pretty much mirror that base recoil. In this test, the SOF barrel didn't look a whole lot different either, but a couple other tests I've done, there is a substantial amount more recoil. So just be aware of that. This barrel is not consistent at all. Another test I did, it was all the way up in here. So just take note that it does have an impact to the recoil, even though this particular test I did here didn't seem to show it as much. You do see, though, that you get a lot more bounce between bullets than you do with the other 3 barrels. So, rubberized grip, that VLK Strelok, you can see here, both of those help some. I really like this VLK Strelok stock. It takes a pretty good magnitude of that left-hand kick out, and then it sort of just goes straight vertical. So I like this stock, especially if you want to try to control some of that side-to-side kick with this weapon. Now, the various underbarrels, you can see here, most of them all performed about the same. The interesting thing here is these are typically supposed to help you out, and what I find interesting is that the 2 stocks that hurt your movement speed with this weapon, the Commando Foregrip and the Cronin Shark, both performed substantially worse than the base recoil profile. You can see the Commando Foregrip sort of cut off a lot of that side-to-side, which is what you expect with the recoil stabilization. But you can see here that the Cronin Shark, you got probably a 30 to 40% higher kick in the overall vertical recoil using this attachment. So be really wary of putting that Cronin Shark on. It's basically a replacement for the tactical foregrip. Of all of these, though, I like the Merc foregrip, the Ranger foregrip. Again, the Commando foregrip is a favorite of a lot of people. But here are the various recoil profiles for the underbarrels. So we threw a few loadouts together, and you'll see these in the upcoming slide. The first one was our accuracy loadout. And you can see here, this had a pretty nice, tight, vertical recoil profile, and this is 20 shots here. Now, these next 2 here are 30 rounds, which is why they're quite substantially higher. Now, this is mobility profile, so again, that SOF barrel is really going to boost that recoil. This is if you really want to play a close quarters map, you're not worried about recoil control with this weapon. Same with the balanced. Again, this has a fairly decent recoil profile. You cut out these top 10 bullets and you're right here around the base recoil with the 30-round mags and some extra mobility. So this is the Warzone profile we have that you'll see later uses those 10-round mags. We have a higher powered scope on there as well as some additional recoil control and stabilization attachments. So this is a pretty decent. Again, though, I don't really highly recommend using this gun in Warzone to begin with. And then we threw another fun loadout in here if you just want a ton of extra ammo. This has the 30-round mags, the fully loaded perk, and is a lot more of a run and gun type build. So taking another look at each of these loadouts, we have the accuracy build here with that VLK optic, the Strelok stock, the rubberized grip, Ranger foregrip, and the OSA barrel. We've got the mobility build. Again, this is for moving quickly around the map. You got the skeleton stock, tack laser, stipple grip, the SOF barrel, and then you got some additional ammo here with the 30-round mags. This is just a good general balance build. The skeleton stock, stipple grip, 30-round mags. We threw a GI Mini reflex as well as that OSA barrel. This is a very good loadout. I highly recommend using this in most multiplayer gameplay. Warzone loadout, again, this sort of favors accuracy and then that damage with the 10-round mags as well as that extra damage range. You could probably take the tack laser off. I sort of threw it in here to get some extra ADS speed. You could probably throw on a stipple grip tape instead. And then again, the optic is up to you, however you want to play. A good 3x optic is also good as well. Lastly, here's that extra ammo, that 6v6. Again, this is more of a mobility. You get the stealth, the extra ammo, the fully loaded perk, and the movement speed with the skeleton stock. So that's all I got, guys, with the AS VAL. Hey, have fun using this weapon. I really like this, especially in hardcore game modes, because the fire rate is so fast. You typically down the enemies before they even have a clue what hit them. So with that, guys, that's all I got today on the AS VAL. Thanks for watching. Comment, like, hit that thumbs up, subscribe, and we'll have more videos coming out soon. Thanks for watching.